Hello, friends. Today I will be talking about what people call the Great Leap Forward. If you go to Google Scholar, there are two Great Leap Forwards. One is from China, and the other one is what I'm referring to as the Great Leap Forward, which took place about 40,000 years ago. The Great Leap Forward is the term given for the sudden explosion in technological sophistication, cave art, clothes, dwellings, etc. that happened about 40,000 years ago. However, the human brain attained its modern size about 200,000 years earlier. Why? Ramachandran thinks mirror neurons hold the answers. These mirror neurons are particularly relevant to the evolution of language. Ramachandran, as well as Darwin, proposed that the vocal apparatus and the ability to modulate our voices evolved mainly for courtship. Rizzolatti discovered what are called mirror neurons. When we watch someone perform an action or start to perform an action, these neurons will fire or discharge. The amazing thing is, these same neurons fire when we perform the same action. Some believe the leap happened because of environmental triggers acting on the human brain that had pre-adaptations like mirror neurons. Development of mirror neurons was necessary but not sufficient to make us human. This is because there is an amount of imitation learning and culture, which then drives development of those mental traits that makes us human. Acquisition of language has an anatomic basis. Before we could acquire language, several anatomic changes had to happen. A shortened face, a long narrow vocal tract, an anterior foramen magnum, the hole at the bottom of the skull where the spinal cord passes through, a descended larynx, and shortened soft palate. Speech set humanity apart from the rest of the animals and allowed advanced civilization. Jared Diamond has labeled this the Great Leap Forward. About 40,000 years ago, vocal tract anatomy and neural connections allowed language. Though our upper respiratory tract evolved for many purposes, one of the main reasons was speech. Though our upper respiratory tracts emerged for several reasons, speech was the main one. Speech enabled humans to learn from those who came before them. Before speech, knowledge was acquired slowly and not easily transmitted. Humans could learn from more than experience after speech appeared. Gene regulation, rather than modification or creation, seems to drive evolution. There is not yet enough evidence to conclude that genome duplication by itself can explain evolutionary advances, though it does supply raw material. Another idea gaining traction is that functional or structural changes require regulatory changes. Donahue et al. Have provided circumstantial evidence that non-coding RNAs called micro-RNAs are causal factors in structural change and increasing complexity of organisms. Micro-RNAs regulate messenger RNA activity after transcription. Micro-RNAs are important in turning off unwanted pathways. Current thoughts on mirror neurons include that they are an evolutionary adaptation for social cognition. They emerged in a common ancestor of humans and extant monkeys, and they were favored by natural selection because they promote social interaction. They combine motor and sensory components. Mirror neurons are thought to put one person in the shoes of another to understand his or her action. Recent research suggests that mirror neurons are products of associative learning. This hypothesis indicates that mirror neurons form in individual development, a kind of Pavlovian conditioning. Paleoanthropologist Ian Tattersall states that it was the invention of language that was responsible for human capacity. Some genetic event rewired the brain for language that allows expression of thought that triggered social development. I am not, nor do I claim to be, a linguist. I made this video because language is one of the things that makes us uniquely human, and it allowed us to spawn religion. Next week I will be going back to my religion series. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do next week, but it will be good. So come back and see me. I will see you next time. Until then, stay curious, my friends, and never be afraid.